This video is brought to you by Squarespace, the best way to make an amazing website. Hey guys, it's Max. We just got in the brand new Galaxy S21 Ultra, and today we're gonna do a full detailed comparison against the Note 20 Ultra and find out if it's worth spending hundreds of dollars more for this brand new phone, or if you just get the Note. We're not only gonna compare the exterior differences, comfort in hand, and specs, but other things such as the brand new display with higher brightness and refresh rates, the new fingerprint sensor, the brand new 5G chip, the cameras, and much more. Now, the first thing that I notice is the design difference. It almost looks like there's two different companies designing this phone. On the back, the thing that really stands out are the camera bumps. The S21 looks huge with all these cutouts. Now, we will be looking at cameras today in this video, but we're also doing a blind camera comparison. Those are always a ton of fun, not knowing which camera shot which photo and choosing which one looks best. So if you guys want to see that, click that subscribe button below, and with that you guys can help us reach 600,000 subscribers before March, which is our 2-year mark. That would be amazing. Now, in my opinion, the Note 20 looks a lot more premium and more elegant. I've been using the S21 for about a day now, and it just looks almost like it's dated, like we're going back in time. We have the standard kind of curved design with the standard edges, whereas the Note 20 Ultra, you have this super slim frame here with the curved glass and then these flat tops. So in the hand, I love resting my finger on it, and with that, it also feels much thinner than the S21, which feels chunky and it feels heavier at the same time. And overall, I will say that the Note 20 is a little bit more comfortable in the hand. And now let's go ahead and compare the fingerprint sensors. As you guys can see, the fingerprint icon right here is a little bit larger because we do have a new sensor. It's supposed to be a little bit faster, more reliable. So let's go ahead and test that out. I'm gonna do just one by one. So as you guys can see, as soon as I put it down, bam, that is nice and quick. No problems there. Let's try this one. All right, press a little longer. Let me hold. Still really, really fast. Let's test them at the same time. All right, so the S21 is slightly faster. Screen's off, about the same. All right, so the Note 20 didn't turn on there. All right, so it looks like if everything is working perfectly, your finger's in the correct position, they're about the same, maybe just slightly faster on the new S21. But there you go, it didn't go off again. You just have a little bit more leeway with the new S21. Now, the next thing that we're gonna cover are the displays, and man, this might be the biggest reason to go for the new S21 Ultra. But before we take a look at all of the differences, let me give a shout out to the sponsor of this video, Squarespace. If you've been thinking about making your own website, Squarespace is seriously the best way to go. We've built multiple sites, and you can too with literally no web making experience. You just choose a template, customize blocks of text and images, and easily move them around. It's incredibly simple, it's affordable, and ours have been running flawlessly for years now, bringing in new clients thanks to its built-in SEO tools. So whether you're making a website for a small business or for literally anything else, go to squarespace.com/maxtech for a free trial and use our custom link down below. And when you're ready to launch, you will save 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. And now let's compare the displays. Now, looking at both of these, I can't really tell a difference in terms of sharpness or detail, even though the S21 does have a little bit higher resolution. But with that said, right now I have the S21 in 120 Hertz mode, whereas the Note 20 is only at 60 Hertz. And that is because when we go into the settings and we go into the display and we turn on the adaptive motion, it actually won't let you do that unless you turn down your resolution from that nice crisp high-end 1440p down to 1080p. And now that I have 120 Hertz on both, yes, I can tell a difference. The text on the Note 20 looks a little bit soft, and there's almost a little bit of, I don't know, weirdness around the edges because it has to change the resolution. It's not matching up to the display. And because of that, I mostly ran the Note 20 in its 60 Hertz mode. And the S21 can do both at the same time, which is awesome. And you guys can see the smoothest difference in these slow motion clips, how much smoother 120 Hertz is compared to 60. It's a really noticeable difference. And there's more differences than that. So Samsung is using a newer display technology, and the S21 can go go all the way down to 10 Hertz, meaning when we're just sitting here, it doesn't have to refresh at 120 or even 60 or 30, and that saves you battery life. With that, the viewing angles are also a little bit better as well, and there's a little bit less blue shift, but it's not a huge difference. And as far as brightness, we also have a difference. Here, you guys see I maxed out both of them, and the top camera, I went ahead and turned that down so it doesn't blow out the screens, and you can tell that the S21 is brighter. Now, it has a peak brightness of up to 1500 nits, which is crazy. We'll test out an HDR video here in a second, but when you max it out manually, it won't reach that. You have to be outside in auto mode, but anyways, you'll get a little bit brighter. Now, the standout feature of the Note series has always been the S Pen, where you can have it stored right inside the phone there. You pull it out, you get a little pop-up, and there's a bunch of different things you could do. You can create notes, or you could just doodle. This one's AR Doodle, and you've always needed to buy a Note for that. But now with the S21, for the first time, you can actually use an S Pen. Now, as you guys can see, it actually does work with one that came from a Note, but they do have an additional one that they sell. Right now, it is currently sold out. The only downside, if you want to use it, is that there is nowhere to store it inside the phone itself. So you're either gonna have to put it in your pocket or get one of those cases that have a little spot for it. And now let's put these OLED displays to the real test. I have some 4K HDR footage here. There was a S21 update this morning, so both can play this back at 1440p. And with that, they fixed the HDR, and now it is nice and bright and vibrant. And as you guys can see, it is actually better than the Note 20. It looks a little bit sharper to my eyes. The highlights are a little bit brighter, and the same thing kind of goes for the contrast, or at least it's very close. So as far as HDR video, the new S21 is definitely a better experience. But with that said, what about the speakers? So let's go ahead and compare them. Please go get a pair of headphones if you have some so you guys can hear the differences, and let's take a listen. All right, guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I want to hear your guys' opinion. Now, as far as what I heard, man, they were so similar. This might have been the closest I've ever heard in terms of phones. Now, there were a few differences. The Note 20 is a little bit louder and the highs are a little bit brighter, which probably is what makes it louder, where the S21 has a little bit more bass and a little bit more richness in the mids, but it's also slightly quieter. But overall, I don't think anybody will complain with either one. And now let's compare the 5G speeds. I'm gonna go ahead and click go. They're both connected to the same server, the same tower. And the reason I'm doing this test is because the new S21 Ultra has the new Snapdragon X60, which is a 5nm chip. It's supposed to be faster, but as you guys can see, that was a big difference right there. This one's still downloading, but the speed did hit higher. Now, with the faster speeds, it also is supposed to sip a lot less power, or use a lot less power. It looks like now we're going for the upload test, and they're roughly the same. So this is the second time we're doing this test. We did it with the iPhone, and both times the S21 is slower, which is weird. Now, the weird thing is that the S21 is showing LTE on the actual speed test app. So I went ahead and I ran this again. And as you can see, the results are fairly similar to the first time. Now both are showing 5G in our speed test app. So far, this is fairly consistent. I want to go ahead and do one more run here, but this time I'll let these run one at a time to make sure there's no interference or anything like that. And bam, look at that. Now the S21 is hitting those nice high speeds, and we are in a concrete building right now, so it'd be much faster outside. And let's see what the Note 20 could do running by itself. And bam, we're reaching those high speeds, and actually a little bit faster. Oh, now it's cutting down, never mind. So it does look like for some reason, the Note 20 is faster. So we have 138 compared to 101, and 101 isn't bad. You'll still get great speeds with the S21 as long as you're not right next to a Note 20 user pulling data at the same time. Now let's get into processor and graphics performance. I have Geekbench 5 opened up right here, and it's interesting to see that the frequencies are actually slightly higher on the Note 20 Ultra. So let's go ahead and run Geekbench 5. And one big difference between these two is that the new S21 Ultra uses a 5nm processor. So it should be more energy efficient and more powerful. We have the 888 over here compared to the 865 Plus. So we have our results, and I have to say that this is kind of embarrassing. I was expecting a much bigger difference. Now sure, on the single core, that is about 14%, but we're not only talking about a half-year difference. This is a whole architecture change going down to 5nm, and on the multi-core, that is literally a 5% improvement. So it definitely is not worth buying the S21 Ultra for the performance gains, at least in CPU. Now where I'm really curious is for gaming. So let's go and switch over and do a graphics test. We have GFX Bench open. I'm gonna select the car chase scene. We're gonna be able to watch the performance difference as we're going. So let's go ahead and hit start. Let's flip these. The S21 loaded it quite a bit quicker. And now let's see if we notice any performance differences. Honestly, both are looking pretty smooth. There's a few sections where I can notice some dropped frames, but it's not as big of a difference as I expected. Of course, in a second here, we're gonna know the actual results and the frames per second that we got. All right, we have our results, and wow, okay, I guess my eyes were correct. We have 29 frames per second compared to 34, so that is super close. Pretty much an insignificant difference. And I did notice a few drop frames like I mentioned, but almost the whole time it was just as smooth. So that is also unfortunate that we're not getting much performance difference with this brand new flagship processor. Now there still is one major benefit with the Snapdragon 888 and the new X60 modem, and that is battery life. So I've only used the S21 for about a day, but the battery life has been awesome. And from what I've seen online, you'll get about 2 to 3 hours better screen on time compared to the Note 20. And that is with having that 120 hertz on, or if you shut both of them off. So the battery life is absolutely incredible. And now it's finally time to talk about the cameras. Now both of these are flagships. They have crazy 108 megapixel sensors. We have 40 megapixel front-facing sensors. Here's a selfie shot with the beauty mode turned off. You guys let me know which one looks better down below. But the most interesting thing for me is the telephoto cameras. So not only do we have this crazy 10x zoom, which is now 10x optical zoom compared to 5 times, but the S21 also has a new 3 times optical zoom camera. Now I figured that extra camera is probably great for macro shots, but take a look at this and you guys let me know your thoughts. But to me, using the digital crop on that 108 megapixel sensor actually looks better on the Note 20 Ultra. And my next thought was that it could be used for portrait shots instead of having digital crop, but no, both of them still use that main 108 megapixel shooter. And you guys let me know which one of these portraits look better to you. Now, of course, there is so much to cover in terms of camera. We also have 8K video, we have stabilization, a ton of stuff. So that's why we're doing that blind camera comparison. I'm gonna go out and shoot a bunch of photos today, and then Vadim and Angelica are gonna guess which one looks better, and we'll know, is it the more mature product with lots of software updates, or this new phone with a little bit of hardware changes. Make sure you guys enable those notifications down below. And now let's talk about the value and my final verdict on which one I would personally buy. As far as prices, the new S21 Ultra, it is $1,200, so it actually dropped about $200 compared to last year, which is great. And the Note 20, it was $1,300. With that said, there are some killer sales right now. I'll leave some links down in the video description. You can pick one of these up for about $1,000, and I've actually seen them slightly less than that compared to full price of $1,200. Not only that, with the Note 20, you actually can add a micro SD card so you can expand your storage without having to pay extra out of the gate, which is awesome. And Samsung ditched that with the S21. And to make matters worse, the S21 also doesn't come with the charging brick, which the Note 20 does include. And then of course, even though you have support for the S Pen with S21, it actually comes with the Note 20, and you have that nice little convenient slot to store it in. And to top it all off, the things that I was most excited about with the S21 Ultra, which is the new Snapdragon 5nm chip and the new modem, well, the performance isn't that much better, and the actual 5G was slightly slower for some reason. So with that said, there is absolutely no way that I personally would choose the S21 Ultra over the Note 20. The Note 20 feels better in the hand, it is lighter, it looks so much more premium, and it costs less money. Now, the only one thing that I wish it could do is have that high resolution with that 120Hz display refresh rate. Who knows if that ever will happen, it probably won't, but it is a trade-off. You can switch back and forth if you want. Other than that, this is still a great performing phone, and it looks awesome, and it works great. So you guys let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I guess the only way the S21 could redeem itself is with amazing photo quality, and of course we will be testing that out soon. So click that circle above if you guys want to see that blind camera comparison, and also with that you can help us reach 600K subs before March, which is our 2-year mark. That would be absolutely amazing. Go ahead and check out one of those videos right over there. This has been Max, and I will see you in the next video.